other people?
Not if they want to live long and have good relationships. I would say to anybody, you know, Joseph Campbell line of follow your bliss. As you follow what really makes you happy, I think a lot of doors start opening up and, you know, synchronistic events start going off. That's what people call following your heart. Now, you got to know what that is. And when I was young, I knew what that was. That's what I was drawn to, what I enjoyed doing. You know, I'll write a song where I'm trying to figure out a problem in my own life, or I'm going through a certain thing, and I'll write my way out of it. And that connects with people who are going through similar problems. It's like a form of therapy, really. But I think through trying to solve my own problem through writing and getting it down on paper and singing it and getting it out, I think other people, when they hear it, then it's a balm for them too. I try to leave some hope in the songs, you know. People get some relief from that. And I'm thankful for that. So I've had songs help me through a time, and those songs mean a lot. You know, it's like a divining rod of sorts. I'll try different things, like, oh, let's try this beat with that, or this instrument. And
I know someday somebody's gonna pick you up off the ground.
I think as I get to writing the song, it interprets how it should be laid out. My dad had a guitar. He played a little bit around the house, and I don't know, it just something sparked in me. Like, I want to do that. So I picked up Dad's guitar and started learning to play, and my dad showed me a few chords and hadn't really stopped.
Why do you make music?
Probably just to be like my heroes when I was younger. You know, Willie Nelson was big. Eddie Van Halen was big to me, Van Halen. It was 1981, I was 10. Those were very formative years, and that's just what I wanted to do.
A little bit of Brian.
I think songwriting's an art, so, you know, as far as that, I'm an artist. I like the art side better than the entertainment side. Something about the entertainment side's just kind of, it's got that phoniness to it. The art side doesn't. That's more of the real thing. I think my subconscious kind of helps supply lyrics, and I'll have people come up sometime, tell me a song helped them through a certain thing, or this song was important to them and for this reason, and that's cool. That's the goal. So I was in the 8th grade, and Twisted Sister was singing "We're Not Gonna Take It." I didn't want to take it anymore either. You know, it works that way. Well, I think the hardest part is getting the song out of the ether onto the paper. I'll grab a guitar and I'll start playing maybe something that I already know, and that kind of leads to maybe a new riff or something, or a new chord progression. And then once I have a progression going, I'll just start babbling a verse. That's just fun for me. That's the creative part. Mainly songwriter. That's my favorite thing, if I had to just pick one thing of what I do. Well, 50 billion red Chinese don't give a tinker's damn about your troubles. But you move it on, mister, can't you see it's all a system that eventually will eat you? They'll be picking your pocket while they're saying pleased to meet you. Don't kid yourself, mister, it ain't a gentleman's game. It's a slideshow I've seen frame by frame. And I bet you're just screaming. I made bunch of records and a bunch of songs. I've done it so long, there's a lot of muscle memory involved.
Man's been stabbed 30 times in the back, and everyone agreed it was a suicide pact. I saw him in the window waving at us when somebody threw the body underneath the bus.
If you can occupy one side of your brain, it lets the other side kind of start flying around to different ideas. You know, I think when I'm around different songwriters and stuff, I might pick up something from them, some sort of inspiration. I think we tend to inspire each other. You know, I'll write something and then record it, and people will find it in various ways. I was lucky because the Great Divide, when we first started, we started playing my original songs and a handful of stuff, but mainly like Jerry Jeff Walker or Robert Earl Keen songs that we just liked. And so I've always, since I started with them, sang my own stuff, and that's all I've known, really. Yeah, I just hope that the songs just continue, you know, if someone hears it and go, oh, that helped me through my day. That's nice. That's a cool thing. Because I've had songs help me through a time, and those songs mean a lot. And I've met people that their stuff meant a lot, and you tell them and they just kind of, I try to remember that feeling of standing on the other side trying to tell somebody, you know. But Willie, you know, he was super cool. We opened a show for him. And after the show, we got to go on the bus and talk to him and hang out. And super gracious. And I started telling him about a song that I was writing, and I was just trying to tell him the idea. And he goes, well, play it for me. And let me play it on Trigger. That guitar was the reason I started when I was 10 on that quest. He knows what's going on, and he's a kind man, you know. That's a nice thing he did. I started to tune it. It was a little out of tune. And I turned one of the knobs and it creaked. And I said, man, when you tune it, I'm kind of scared to do it. And he just laughed and tuned it up, manded it back. And I played him a couple songs. It was amazing. You know, that was a highlight of my life. Van Halen blew my mind. I remember my brother was 5 years older, and him and some of his friends, Eruption came blaring out of their car, and I was just learning the guitar and was just standing in the yard going, what? It sounded like an alien landing. I took that into my guitar teacher and I played it for him, and he goes, I can't help you there. I got to meet Eddie Van Halen one time. We get backstage, we start going down the hallway to the dressing room, and my heart is just going crazy, you know? I'm scared. It's like a dread thing, but I want to meet him, you know, just such a hero. He signed this pin I had that I used to wear in the middle of my baseball hat when I was about the 7th grade. Dork. Just a big Eddie Van Halen pin. I was just trying to get out of there without just screaming. Ah! You know, that was... Those two were like meeting my idols, and they were kind. So that was super cool. It doesn't take much to stop and just be a person, you know. I try to remember that when, you know, if somebody's into my songs or whatever. Music's never felt like a job. And luckily that's been able to pay my bills and running a studio at my house.
Passing through, no clue where I'm bound.
Then it'll go, after you do that, goes through there for 2 measures, and then
where's the solo gonna be?
It'll go to the chorus.
On the F.
Right. You gonna draw that bridge out and do a solo there, Mike?
When I was in Great Divide, when that started, I was 20, and I had a few jobs, you know, t-shirt shop or grocery store, but it's all I've done. I don't think I could handle a real job. I get up whenever I want to get up. Stay up late, play music, laugh a lot. I don't really see a regular job in my future. Most people have to get up early, and I just work at different hours. You know, I've always been that way. When I was younger, I'd just wait till everybody's asleep, and then I'd start working or writing or creating something. And I see it as antennas going up. There's other people's energies around. I think it affects yours. And when everything is still, it's a lot easier to get my antennas up higher. probably go out 3 days a week, so 3 times 52, probably around 150 dates. My biggest problem ever is when I come in from being gone on the road and transitioning back into being at home with my family.
That's the hop.
Because it takes me a minute to start shutting off being in go mode, you know, and they've been on not go mode. For one, that's all my kids knew. I'd be gone for a few days, home for a few days, and usually though I'd be gone for a weekend but then be home all week, and I get to just be around different kind of time chunks, you know, see them all day or whatever. When you're traveling on the move all the time, in and out of different situations, it can get to you. But yeah, I love it. I love going to work. I love going to either a show or if someone's coming to my basement at my house to record. I'm excited to get up and go to work. I don't know a whole lot of people that are, really. Not saying yay me, I'm just saying I appreciate it.
What are you thinking?
I sound like Schnookums.
Sheridan. I like that feel, and then like maybe whenever it builds up, then go 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
The kick every beat.
Yeah.
But that same feel right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool.
When I was in high school, me and a buddy of mine named John Humphrey, we had just a duo, just drums and guitar, and just banged it out in my garage. We'd go to a high school basketball game, and there'd be a timeout, and we'd be up in the corner, playing Zeppelin songs. I was in a band with a guy from Asher named Jody Chambers. We played One Beer Joint in Shawnee and the Silver Quarter Starcade, an arcade. That was our first gigs. And then after that, I moved to Seminole Junior College. I got a 2-year ride to play in their stage band. Did that for a couple years, went to Stillwater, and that's when I met the Great Divide guys. And I just really started writing more and thinking, hey, I've got these songs, I want to record them. And that's how I got going.
The Artful Dodger's back in town. He's got an eagle feather and a derby crown. Last I saw, he had a mandolin, fingers moving like fire through wind. I turned the corner, he was gone again. Said I'll see you soon, guess it's soon now then.
It's called red dirt because we called it red dirt. I think the term applies because it is red dirt. Where we live, right here in the Stillwater, Central Oklahoma area, the dirt's red. It's that simple. And you know, really to me, the red dirt thing starts in Stillwater. I will say that the red dirt scene, really, red dirt music started as a songwriter scene. A litany of really good songwriters. Those guys were ruling the day around here. It was Bob Childers, Tom Skinner, Greg Jacobs, Chuck Dunlap. In the early 90s, here comes a little band called Great Divide, and it's like, man, these guys are pretty good. And Mike started coming out to the farm. Bob Childers invited him out, and we met Mike.
Tyrus carved a Georgia peach, knocked one just beyond the reach. A shoeless Joe Jackson's died, round and third and the crowd's alive. Detroit takes it 6-5, downtown the Dodger stops his jive. And the air turns thin and the sky grows dark and the weather vane bends. And he's gone again, about the time you depend on him. And it's a twisted tale he spins, my friend. You wonder why you even bother till you see the Artful Dodger.
Well, I moved out to the farm with my friend Danny Pierce in the spring of 1979. We were looking for a place to live, and this friend said, hey man, I've heard about this place outside of town a little bit. So we pulled down the driveway, and it's this big 6-bedroom house in the country, but not really because it's close to town. And it proceeded to be a party house. It was a party house for college kids. Well, slowly, musicians, of course, found out about it. We were friends with all the musicians in town. And so on the strip, there would be thousands of kids going bar to bar to bar, listening to live music. It was a it was kind of a golden time that I don't know that could ever be repeated. And when the bands would finish at night, the rally cry in all the bars would be "Party at the Farm." Out we'd go. And for 20 years, the Farm was truly the epicenter of red dirt music. It's where red dirt music started, without a doubt. There were never any rules. I heard great songs performed. I saw great songs written. It was just that place. It was just far enough out of town where the law left us alone, but close enough where we could get in and out real easy. So the Farm it was an incubator. It gave the music the fertile bed to grow and expand and go around the world, because that's what it's done. The house burned down in 2003, and they think what caused it was rats chewing on the wiring. That was just really, it was an old house. I think the whole house, 6-bedroom house, took about 2 hours to completely burn to the ground. It was a fire trap. Anytime you have people wanting to perform their own material, their way, with no restrictions, without looking at, oh, I've got to do this to make, the charts, or, this deal, I want to be this star. That was never a consideration with any of the people in this scene to me. I mean, we all wanted to sell our music. We all wanted to be bigger than just Stillwater, but the song was the most important thing, and the band is the most important thing. It's the music always was at the forefront. It wasn't about being a star or personality or, some kind of red carpet person or whatever. That was never a consideration. The main consideration was making good music. That's what counted at the Farm. That's what counted in Red Dirt. It's about the music, because without the song and the music, you got nothing.
Well, 5 o'clock traffic out of Houston slow, and I got about 400 miles to go. And there's a horseshoe welded on the bumper of a truck that's in front of me, and maybe that'll bring a little luck. I had to mend a few fences where I used to cut through them and roam. Hell, the only thing Roman never got me was lonely for the feeling of a rolling dag home.
We started calling it Red Dirt music because people would ask, what kind of music do you play? And we got tired of saying blues, Cajun, Tex-Mex, bluegrass, rock and roll, country. And we got tired of saying that litany of words, and we just said, well, we play Red Dirt music. The first time I heard the term Red Dirt was from Steve Ripley, who had a band called Moses in Stillwater back in the early 70s. And they had a label called Red Dirt Music. Steve was a really important player. He ran a studio. Steve, he was Leon Russell's engineer for 2 decades. He played in Bob Dylan's band. He was Bob Dylan's guitar player. He had a band called the Tractors that sold 4 million records or something along those lines. So Ripley is very important. We all looked up to Ripley. It's like, hey man, here's a guy from our area that made it. I mean, he's big time. So he was kind of our guy. Before that, Jesse Ed Davis, the famous guitar player from Tulsa who played with everybody, all the Beatles, he's way famous. He had a song called Red Dirt Boogie Brother back in the late 60s. Mike is such a unique individual, man. There's nobody like him. I've known Mike for almost 30 years now. And it's funny because we don't see each other all the time. We'll text or call occasionally, but we're in a musical family, and it's hard to explain to people that don't do it for a living, or we're lifers. McClure and the Red Dirt Rangers, and Bob Childers and Tom Skinner, lifers in the music biz. And I have my family, he has his family, but we have this musical family, and the blood of that family is music itself.
When I moved to Stillwater, like Brad James, who was in a band called The Medicine Show, he worked for a music store that sold The Great Divide, our first PA, and he came over to show us how to set it up. And he was checking it, and he played a Tom Skinner song called Used to Be, and a Bob Childers song called Restless Spirits. And I asked him, what are those songs? I'd never heard them before, and I really liked them. And he said, oh, that's Red Dirt. That's Tom and Bob, and in that area of Stillwater. That's what they were calling, their music. Yeah, I probably, from Eddie, instead of going that route, I probably went into more Steve Earle, like a Guy Clark. I started listening to a lot of that stuff, which I got really turned on to in Stillwater. Was like, I'd hear Steve Earle in the music shop, and who is that? And just a tough voice and cool songs, and a lot better than was on the radio. Yeah, I'd hate to be sitting somewhere and think, oh, I should have tried that. I did try it, and wasn't very damn good starting out, but just kept doing it because I loved it, and kept getting better, and kept trying, and kept putting my songs up against other people's songs and going, oh, mine isn't stacking up, and why, and going back to the drawing board over and over again until I can go, yeah, I'm proud of that. This will be you here. Being able to do the thing that you love, and the older I get, I think that's pretty rare, and I feel very lucky for that. But I've put out enough of a catalog I'm super proud of, and the songs got out enough to afford me to, live the life I want to live. I still sweat the mortgage sometimes, but whatever I need usually shows up at the perfect time. And I think that's partly from following my bliss.
View this program again anytime at www.youtube.com/cityofadaok.